Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have another Gundam Converge review. This is the Gundam Converge EX16 Shamblo from Gundam Unicorn. Now, I did promise you guys last week that I will be reviewing some interesting robot Daoshi figures, but basically the fact that I'm reviewing this figure is that nothing has gone as planned. Yes, I have ordered the figures, but they have not arrived yet. Technically I did order 4, but problem is one of them, I got the most joyful message of that. Turns out they didn't actually have it in stock, so someone was not doing their job. The rest 3 are actually sent, so actually technically 2. One is going to be sent on Monday because I ordered it on a weekend. So yeah, that's why you're seeing a Gundam Converge review. So sorry about that, but definitely next week it's guaranteed that we'll be seeing some Robot Daoshi figures review. Alright, so as mentioned, this is Gundam Converge figures, are small collectible figures. Before we start the review, so let's talk about like some other components. So this is the Shamblo. So this was the big mobile armor that we saw, other than the Neo Zeon from Gundam Unicorn. I guess this would be considered as a big amphibious mobile suit, as far as I know. Yeah, but in the Unicorn series or the OVA, it definitely had a lot of firepower. It went berserk in the middle. Yeah, but definitely I think that's why a lot of people did like it about it. I mean, it's also even red and it's definitely unique. And yeah, this Gundam Converge figure actually has some components that we don't really see in other Gundam Converge figures, even in the EX lines. So I'm going to put this aside and show you guys the box. So this is the box. Now I believe I also bought this a long time ago back in Japan. I believe mine was a second hand, but yeah, everything was there, everything is fine, or at least I think it's fine. So this is the box, EX16. Definitely love the box art. We have the side, some event, which is no longer, a thing anymore. The back side, some explanations, but I believe that's in Japanese, and so yeah. Alright, so let's talk about components before we actually get into the review. So first of all, what you get, of course, would be obviously the Shamblo that you see in front, and then some of these parts. So we get these parts. Now I'm going to put these this way. Okay, so basically these plastic clear parts are like supports for the arm and the head, but I'm not sure about the head, but the arms, they are a pretty good addition, but of course they don't. Once you actually use them, you don't really get the feeling that they're actually supporting anything. So I think this is more about a more long-term thing. So I'm pretty sure because of those arms, if you'll basically see it in the review, but they're not the type of things that would last long, or at least I think. And then this is for the head; those 2 are for the arms. So and this is actually a pretty cool addition. So this is basically Shamblo has like this mega beam cannon in its head, and it opens its mouth to fire it. This is the piece that you're going to use for that version or that mode, which I will be demonstrating in the video. Alright, so let's get on to the review. So I'm going to put it away from the stand. Now I forgot how much I bought for this, but it definitely was cheap because the fact that I bought this because it was secondhand and very cheap, I bought it. Even though it's second-hand, but if it goes like for 4,000 to 5,000 yen, there's no way I'll be buying it unless it's something as big as whatchamacallit, like the Gundam Converge white base. So there's not much to actually review because these are collectible figures and you're not buying them for like special features or articulation. So just to show you guys a comparison, this is more modern Gundam Converge figure. So you can see there's a bit of a size comparison. Now this is one of the few mobile armors that I don't think they actually planned it well in terms of scale, because if you buy the Neo Zeon or the Psycho Gundam, whatever the mobile armor you have, you can see that it's still actually taller or bigger than a standard Gundam Converge figure. This one, in case, well, not in terms of height, but definitely in terms of like mass, it's definitely bigger, but height not so much, because even in if you saw Gundam Unicorn series, it definitely was a little bit taller than a standard Gundam, I believe, but I could be just wrong. But yeah, this is the Gundam Narrative B-Packs, those are who are curious. Alright, so let's see what we can show. So this time, this one actually panel lined a bit. So you can see all the black lines actually being panel lined. And I think it turned out very well. So most of these dots were pretty easy to panel line. The best part, or the most fun part, was actually the back, because there's a lot of stuff to panel line. I'm going to take this apart actually. Come on. So we have the back part, which I believe these are the parts where I'm not the missile launchers, but if you remember in the series, Shamblo would open these hatches and then release these mini copters kind of things, and then that would spray. I don't know what they're spraying, but basically they make a small force field to basically reflect beam weapons. And I think this is the part, and yeah, paneling these parts were definitely fun actually. And then if you look at the bottom, you can see the small details in here. So this is definitely interesting. I mean, they could have just emptied this part up, but definitely there's a lot of detail going on the inside. And then if we look at this section, we can see the model number AMA X7, and it was the Xeon symbol. I was thinking of actually coloring the Xeon symbol gold, but I thought that would be kind of out of place. And then we have more of these panel lines, definitely fun. I didn't go too crazy on the panel line, just basically enough to make it look less messy. Because sometimes if you panel line everything, it could end up being messy. Okay, so when you buy this, or when you open the box and try to assemble it, it's going to be in very, very multiple pieces. So the arms would be separate, these shoulders were separate, the feet would be separate, the head would be separate. This part, as you just saw, was a separate piece. This back section is actually a separate piece. So definitely, it's not a hunk of plastic. You can see you can take this part off. So yeah. The only issue I'm having is that this part is not really actually stuck in there. It's just there. It's just like you latch it on. It's just not really stable. So then again, if it's on the ground, there shouldn't be any issues. And this thing is not like a flying type mobile suit. So yeah. All right. So this one has some special features. Now, number one, the claws. Now, the arms don't move. So you can see the arms are connected to the leg, and this is where this comes into play. So I guess they were worried about the arms being vulnerable like that. So they intend you to do something like this. But you can see it's not really supporting anything. So I think it's, once again, just in case, like if you accidentally press it down so you don't actually break it or something like that. And yeah, these ones are also meant for the head, so it has to go below the hip. But once again, as you can see, it's not really supporting anything. So there's one, I believe one of these are actually shorter than the other. The shorter one is for this current head. The other one is for the open mouth head, as far as I know. So yeah, you can see it. Well, maybe this one might be able to support, but you can see it's not really the perfect fit. Alright. So this one actually has some articulation on the neck, so you can see it can move left and right. Now this is not because just it's on a ball joint, not a ball joint, I mean on a peg, but I'm going to actually take the neck apart anyway. So you can see the part that was moving was not here, but actually, I hope this can actually come off. There we go. We can see there's actually a peg and that allows it to move, which is why we have some neck articulation going on here. And then the claws. Now the arm, as I mentioned, the arms don't move, but the claws can move. Now this is something that we don't really usually see in Gundam Converge. So yeah, I kind of found this interesting, and then I definitely do like the metallic silver they use on here. And those panel lines, I did not do that myself. They came in like that. So yeah, very interesting, and I do like the fact that they did a pretty good job on the sleeves marking. And when it comes to HD kits, I really hate the sleeves markings. Because number one, I don't like using stickers on those kind of parts. Number two, they are so hard to color. Alright, so, and then, yeah, you can't move the entire shoulder itself because the way how the peg works is that it's one of those square pegs, not the circle peg, so yeah. So yeah, other than that, there's not much moving parts as well. And you can see the body is actually pretty small when you think about it. You can get rid of the arms, and you can see this is the only main body that there is, so yeah. Okay, so now let's actually show you guys the opened up version of the head. So you can see the head, the mono eye is there, very colorful than you think. A lot more panel lines I did. I think these dots were kind of unnecessary for me to do, but I just felt like doing them. But yeah, recently I've been starting to panel line some Gundam Converge figures, and they turned out to be pretty fun. So I've been doing it a lot. If you've been following me on my Facebook page or my Gundam Converge Galore Facebook group, yeah, you might have seen some stuff I've been panel lining. Okay, so basically you have to take everything apart from here, even the neck. Yeah, even the neck. So yeah, this is the neck section. I do like the fact that they put on armor on the neck as well. Very efficient, and even the sleeves color marking on this part has been done very well. So this is pretty much a hunk of plastic or block, and you're going to replace it with this. So much more detail. Whoops, much more detail, and I don't think that's a clear piece in the inside, but it's like a metallic blue color and it shines very well. So I'm going to actually attach the neck first just in case. And then all you need to do is basically reattach everything. So of course you have to check inside of these parts because there's a left and right on this. Inside the hole there's going to be an R or an L, so this being L, and then there's also a left and right indication here. This one saying R, so this is the left section. Now some of them are pretty obvious, but when you buy some certain Converge figures, you need those left and rights actually help a lot, even when it comes to ensemble figures. When I first like been building the ensemble figures, it was really confusing on knowing which one was left and right. And then finally, you attach it here, and then it gives out the opened up version, and that looks very, very powerful and sinister. And all you need to do is basically reattach it, and because of the way it's still connected, you can still move it left and right a little bit. So yeah, it still works, and definitely gives out that powerful feeling, and the fact that it's going to fire its mega cannon. So yeah, as you can see, still, yeah, if you display with a different Converge, it doesn't really give out that a big mobile armor feeling, unlike how I reviewed the Queen Manza or the new Razihel. It doesn't really give out that feeling, but still, on its own, it's definitely a fun figure to like panel line, and definitely fun to display on its own. Once again, if these are meant for the head, I think this one would actually work because yeah, this might actually need some support. But the arms, I'm not really sure because the arms itself are actually connected to the peg with a peg inside the legs, and they're very long and very stuck in there. So I'm not really sure if they were that necessary. And you can see I'm actually having trouble to get it in. But that's pretty much it for the review. This was the review of the Gundam Converge EX16, I believe. Yeah, the EX16 Shamblo. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. Next week, I definitely promise will be a Roll Anthology review next week. So yeah, until then, see you guys next time.